I'm here today to discuss the impact the small community has on its local communities. Now, some would say that the small businesses are the backbone of America. But I think most of us will agree that the small business is the backbone of our local communities. Although the small business employs less people and has a less annual revenue than that of a large corporation, the large business as a whole accounts for more than 50% of the employment in America. The small business owner is also very influential within the community because this is where many of them reside. We interact daily with small businesses. We interact with them almost every day. They are intrinsically a part of our lives. The small business owners consist of our barbershops and our salons. This is where we go get our haircuts. We talk about sports. We engage in healthy dialogue. This is where we talk about the day-to-day events. Our clothing shops. This is where we buy clothes for everyday use as well as for special occasions. Our restaurants and our diners. This is where we go to get a meal. We eat alone, sometimes with family and friends. Our banquet halls. Our banquet halls are also small businesses. This is where we come together. We celebrate a special occasion or a special event. This is where we make lasting memories. Our financial institutions. Now, some of you are surprised that I'm including the financial institutions when they're a part of a much larger corporation, such as the J.P. Morgan Chase, the Bank of America, the Citicorps, the Wells Fargos, just to name a few. But I'm specifically talking about the local branches. The local branches' success depends on the revenue it generates from the people in the community as well as the small businesses. Small businesses create jobs. Small businesses tend to employ people that reside within the community. Unlike the large corporations employ headhunters who actively recruit people outside of the community. People who do not have to travel outside of their community tend to spend their money within the community. The key component to having a successful, thriving community is by having variety within the community. Now, an example. If you work in your community, you have several restaurants, you have doctor offices, you have lawyer offices, you have grocery stores. The people in the community, or the likelihood of the people in the community to go outside of that community for any of their needs are slim. The money also stays within the community. Now, this holds true also for businesses. Businesses support other businesses. They tend to buy their goods as well as utilize the services of other businesses within the community. Now, as we are shopping locally, the tax revenue is growing. This tax revenue goes back into the community and it helps to promote better schools, the infrastructures, the roads, and improves the overall quality of life within the community. Locations. Small businesses tend to find their locations in pre-existing structures. They may have to do some form of renovation, but on the whole, they maintain the aesthetics and the look and the overall feel of the community. Unlike large corporations, they tend to start or build their business from the ground up. This lessens the green space that was once available, and it also contributes to harmful material going back into the atmosphere as a result of this construction, this machinery. Now, when I started my business, I too had to find a location. I did my research and I settled on a beautiful historic landmark on Richmond Terrace in Staten Island. Now, I say beautiful but many people looking at this structure would not agree. The roof, or part of the roof, had caved in. The porch had fell into the basement, peeling paint. The outside was severely overgrown. Nature had hijacked this property. After speaking with my family and talking with people within the community, I decided I was going to renovate this landmark. I was going to bring it back to its former glory. I was going to give it back to the community and start my business. Right now stands the Pavilion on the Terrace. But this could have gone a totally different way if I was a large corporation. The large corporation has absolutely no connection to structure. They don't see beauty unless there's a dollar or cents attached to it. They will not invest in something like this if it doesn't make sense, dollar-wise. It's important to support the local business owner because they too will continue to maintain the identity of the community. Role models. Small businesses are entrepreneurs. As entrepreneurs, they make the greatest role models. Because if they do their job right, they stand as pillars within the community. Small business owners are also resourceful in that they can tell you how to start the business, how to run the business, because they do this every single day. The small business can tell you their experiences. They can tell you the day-to-day practices of running a business. They can tell you the pros as well as the cons of having a business. They can tell you what needs to be done to have a successful business. Now, sponsorships. The small business owner will invest in their community. They tend to feel a certain obligation to support the very people that put them in existence. For instance, they will sponsor the Little League team, a basketball team, baseball team. They will either also sponsor an event, an organization by taking out a local ads as they tend to have their events throughout the year. It is important to support the small communities, and it's important for the small communities to support the local business. We must find a way to support and nurture the relationship between the small business as well as the community. In my discussion, I hope I have informed you, or we all can agree that the small business impacts the local community and that the small business is the backbone of that community. If I would like to tell you how you too can become a part of that backbone and start your own business and have a positive impact on the community. Now, before I put anything in place, I had to ask myself some very serious questions. And I did this by looking in a mirror. I looked at the person in the mirror and I asked, do you want to start your own business? Do you have the time for this business? Are you going to invest your own money as well as your own resources within this business? Are you going to see this through the end? Are you going to be there when it's time for the renovations to occur on the location? Are you going to be there when it's time to hire employees? Are you going to run out when it gets too tough? I had to look at the person in the mirror, and when I believed that that person in the mirror was going to make the required sacrifices, I told the person in the mirror, it's time. Let's do this. But before I did anything, I researched the area of business that I wanted to open. Was there a market for this business? Was I the only business of my kind? Were there more than one business in the community? And if so, how was I going to be different from these other businesses? How was I going to stand out? You must also research your competitors. Know what they do and how they have stayed current for many years. Once you've done that and researched as much as you could about the business, it's time to start thinking about how you're going to open up this business. Are you going to be a sole proprietor? Are you going to be a partnership? Are you going to be an LLC? Or are you going to open it as an S Corp? Now, so sole proprietors, you and only you, being the boss. You make all the decisions, you reap all the benefits, as well as the profits, and you remain personally liable. The partnership, that's two or more people coming together, creating this business. You all have some say in the business, in the decisions of the business. You also have the benefits of the profits. You share in the profits. You too also remain personally liable. The LLC, that's the Limited Liability Corporation. The Limited Liability Corporation is a corporation that shelters you or protects you from being personally liable and from litigation. Or the S Corp. An S Corp is a tax classification where the profits roll down to the individual shareholders or its owners. The corporation itself does not pay taxes. Now, all this you can discuss in greater detail with an attorney and with an accountant. But once you have this in place, it's time to start thinking about your business plan. Your business plan is your roadmap to success. It outlines what kind of business you're opening, what you intend to do with this business, and how you intend to do it. You also need to consider the expenses, the startup expenses. Some of the things to consider would be your employees, the licenses, their permits, the accountants, the architects, the inventory, and so on. You need to then, in conjunction, start thinking about the name of your business. Your name should not be too restrictive, nor should it be something that you cannot pronounce. For instance, you have a bookstore, or you call yourself Shoes, but in reality you sell shoes, you sell clothing, you sell food. Having a business called Shoes would not be the best representation for that brand. Remember the artist Prince? Prince had changed his name to a symbol. As a result, no one could say the symbol, or there may not even been a name for the symbol. So we called him the artist formerly known as Prince. None of us are Prince. Have a name that rolls off the tongue. Something that best suits your brand or represents your brand. Now, once you have this name, you're going to register this name with the Department of State. The Department of State is going to issue a tax ID number. That tax ID number is similar to a Social Security number. The Social Security number follows the person. The tax ID number follows the name of the business. Once you have that, it's time to open up your business bank account. Please keep that money, your personal money, separate and apart from the business money. You will find that bank account will be the best source of record keeping you can have. The money you put into the account will be your profits. The money you take out of the account are your losses. So, some businesses require permits and licenses to be taken out, but that depends on the business. But for the most part, you are now ready to open up your doors. Please be mindful. Hire an attorney for most of these processes. The attorney will be the best initial investment because they will save you a lot of time and they will save you a lot of money because they will do it right the first time. Once these doors open, be prepared to work your butt off. You will have many days where it seems like it's never going to end, and you're going to have many nights where you're not going to get any sleep. You can have the best attorney in the world, but that attorney cannot guarantee your success. Only you can do that. You have to put in the long hours. You have to make the required sacrifices. I hope I've inspired some of you to open up your own business. And I hope I've inspired some of you to open up your own business in your small local communities. My name is Kecia Weaver. I am a small business owner, and I hope, scratch that, I will make a positive impact within my community. Thank you.